How to stay consistent even when you don't feel like it. Hi everyone, Dan here, back from the Geek Physique. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. So how do you stay consistent with the gym, with your career, with all your goals in your life? Let me break down some key points to keep in mind, things that I found helpful, and this is practical advice you can go away and think about and put into practice right away. The first one is motivation runs out. This does seem pretty obvious. It's probably why you clicked on this video, but obviously motivation is fleeting, right? You know, we feel it when we watch a action movie, or we watch a video like this, or we watch a fitness video, or an actual motivational video on Instagram or whatever. And it gives us that little boost, right, to go do the thing. But fundamentally, discipline eats motivation for breakfast. And what discipline really is doing the thing whether you feel like it or not. And I think coming to terms with this, as obvious as it is, I don't think, and I include myself in this, I don't think we actually come to terms with this very easily. We actually have to realize there's going to be times when we're actually in a bad mood and we still have to do the thing, or in a good mood, right? And it's doing the thing regardless of our feelings at that given moment, because there's plenty of things we already do in our life regardless of our feelings, and I'm going to come back to that later on. The second point here is your habits. What good habits do you have, and what bad habits do you have? And how can you do more of the good stuff and less of the bad stuff? You've probably heard me talk about a book in other videos called Atomic Habits. It breaks this down. It goes really, really deep. And I went kind of on a ramble in other videos about the book. But I have some core pieces from that book I'll lay out here. Go buy the book. It's a really worthwhile investment. It summarizes each chapter to really break this down and help you. But the good thing about this book, and the good thing about the idea of habits and understanding them, is actually, yes, willpower is important. Yes, discipline is important. And that point I made at the start about discipline is completely true. But there are ways and things that we do that make this a lot harder for ourselves or a lot easier for ourselves. And we might not even know we're doing it, right? So one really cool thing that it says to do in the book is you can write down all the good habits you have and all the bad habits you have. And you might be wondering what makes it good, what makes it bad. And it's basically based on the person you'd like to be, right? So, and that comes obviously from your goals, which we'll get to in a bit, but it really comes from your identity, right? And instead of saying you're the type of person where, oh, I struggle with my health, or I don't really have any dreams, or I don't really like my job, you want to at least start saying to yourself and start thinking about yourself differently, in a way of, I am the type of person who takes their health seriously. I am the type of person who takes their career seriously. I might not know exactly what I want to do, but I am the type of person who pushes forward and takes their career seriously, right? It's a change of language first and foremost, and then the habits come from the type of person you want to become. And that's how you determine whether they're good or bad. And then you can start thinking about, how can you make the bad ones harder to do and actually invisible almost? And how can you make the good ones easier and more obvious? So I'll give you some examples here. Obviously, calories in versus calories out works. It is science. Every single diet in life is based on a calorie deficit. Okay, that's not an opinion, that is a scientific fact. Now, on top of that, a lot of people who even know about calorie counting and have been trying to do it for a while, one way they will fall short is maybe they buy the whole multi-pack of crisps and they've got the calorie goal and they've hit the calories that, it's maybe the afternoon or the evening and they've been on point, right? They've been eating good. Maybe they've been eating some naughty things here and there, but there's just certain things. Maybe it's crisps, maybe it's wine, whatever. There's certain things where they can't just have one. they always end up having the whole multi-pack or the whole bottle of wine or whatever it may be. And I would say, at least for the short term, just stop buying those things from the shop and stop making them so readily available to yourself is a really good place to start. That doesn't mean you cut them out completely. Again, calories are king, but why would you make temptation even harder on yourself when you don't have to do that? And there's a lot of successful people out there on YouTube, self-improvement guys, career guys, gym guys, loads of people who do believe in calories in versus calories out. They preach about it, but they even follow this ethos themselves, because even when you follow that principle, like I said, it can still be hard to stop yourself. So why make it even harder on yourself? And you can flip this on its head to say, okay, if I remove the bad stuff, but I'm finding it hard to practice my good habits, like I need to hit a protein goal for a day for my fitness goals, then why wouldn't you buy protein snacks, right? If you need snacks, which are easy to use options, they're there. There's low barrier to entry. Why don't you just get protein snacks, right? Not even protein shakes, just protein bars, things like that, right? Because it's going to make it a hell of a lot easier to hit your protein goal, and it's going to be a lot more obvious. It's going to be right there, just like the packet of crisps would be, right? Excuse me. So I hope you get those two examples. Another one for bad habits, I just want to go back to this because this isn't just about fitness. This can be helpful for your career goals, all kinds of goals in your life. Think about if you're in a job, you don't like the job, but you want to get a better job, right? If you need to do some deep work to move you forward towards that better job or to create a business or whatever it may be, and you are crippled by the dopamine addiction that you didn't even know you had from using your phone, which we all have, right? I have it. We all use our phone way too much. Hide your phone. Literally hide it. Disable notifications, right? Remove the power of that your phone has over you, because there used to be a time where people just accepted not being able to get hold of you. And you're like, what if there's an emergency? What if there was an emergency 10, 20 years ago, right? Would your parents be bad people because they didn't have the end of a phone all of the time? No, they wouldn't be, right? So my point here is, don't have FOMO. Don't have fear of missing out for good or bad reasons if you don't have your phone at the end, in your hand or in your pocket or on your desk. Put it in another room if you have to. Turn it off if you have to, because then it makes that bad stuff invisible. Even with apps, right? If you know you're using apps, if you know you're scrolling TikTok or Instagram or whatever it is too much, maybe you move the apps to another part of your phone, right? Like I know when I'm doing my content creation, I have to make a to-do list, because then I know that I'm going to do a specific thing on that app. And even then I get distracted because I'm not perfect, right? So I give myself a clear target of what I need to do, and then I put it down or move it, or I actually just hide it. I have a laptop here besides my computer. I hide it behind there so I just can't see it. It's not in iShop. I think you get the idea. And then I make the obvious stuff, like if I'm going to do a task and I really need to concentrate, I'll close all my tabs, close everything on my computer, and just have that one thing open because it's right in front of me. Okay. As you're starting to refine your habits are really key, right? I was saying this to some of our clients this week that we work with for their fitness goals. Habits are key, but your goals are key as well. And I feel like there's this kind of like positive feedback loop you want to create between these two, right? You can't get your goals without the right habits, and without goals, your habits don't always feel like they're leading to something, right? And you should want to just have good habits to become the person you want to be, like I said. But goals are a really great way to increase your positive emotion as you're practicing those habits. And it just gives you that sense of achievement, right? And this is built into a lot of life. We just have to do this ourselves, right? So, that promotion at work, or, in the gym, having a goal, like a weight goal or a measurement goal or a performance goal, all of these things are great, because then when you hit there, it's like, okay, I've hit that milestone. What's the next one? And it keeps you on that good track. And this brings me to my other point, which is part of goal setting, which is celebrating little wins. Okay. So before I get to the little wins thing, there's one more thing about goals. They need to be SMART goals, not just lofty goals that are unachievable. SMART being specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. That way, you know you can achieve it. You know you want to achieve it by a specific time, and it gives it a much better chance of actually happening, rather than, oh, it would be good, wouldn't it? No, I'm going to hit this by this time. How are you going to hit it by this time? Because I know, because I'm here and it's realistic to get there, that I will get there by that time. Not trying to go all the way up the mountain, just getting to maybe the first checkpoint on the mountain, right? And so what you want to do to make sure you hit each checkpoint and then get to the biggest goal that you can get to, and then set another one, is you want to celebrate little wins along the way. And this kind of ties back to your good habits. What you want to think about is, what are all the little wins you need to achieve the big wins? Because many little wins equals one big win. And it's things like measurements lost or gained, pounds lost or gained. Maybe for your career, it's CVs sent, right? If I send 5 CVs a day for 5 days a week, I must get a job, right? How else would you get a job unless you're actually putting yourself out there, right? It's logical. You can't say when it will happen, but if you hit that goal every day for the next month, you're going to have a much better chance of hitting the goal of getting a job, which is the next milestone, than you would have if you didn't have a target, or you sent one every week or two, right? And it's like, I used to do this when I was at uni. For my end of year project, when I did my degree in tech, I would say, and people would take the mick out of this all the time, but I would do 10 minutes a day on my end of year project, Monday to Friday. I've talked about this in another video, but I'll talk about it quickly now. People would say, oh, that's not enough time to work. But I would say a few things. 1, 10 minutes is better than nothing. 2, if you haven't worked today on your end of year projects, 10 minutes is 10 minutes more than you've done. And 3, if I do this every day, Monday to Friday, I'm much more confident that I'm going to get there quicker than you are, because a few things happened. A lot of the time, I actually did more than 10 minutes. But the good thing about doing 10 minutes is it's a low barrier to entry, so that you know, it's like the protein snack thing, right? If I know I have to cook some mad chicken meal, cook every time to hit my protein goal, am I going to want to do it? Am I going to feel like it's achievable? Whereas if I've got a protein snack, it's like, all I have to do is break it open and eat it, right? Lower barrier to entry, make the good habits easy. And then when I got to doing it, or when I got into hitting my protein target, when I got more and more into the gym, I did want to cook more, because I was like, oh, I do want variety. And there are other positives to doing that. And it was just the same when I was working towards my end of year project. But I think you get the point here. Make sure you give yourself little wins. Another thing I do still today, I do this every day at work. I pretty much do it every day of the week, usually at least 5 days a week, if not 5 to 7, is I create a to-do list, because then I know each of the things, and I just feel so much better to relax, or to see a friend, or to chill, or to go out with my girlfriend, or whatever it is. I feel so much better to do a thing that I really, really enjoy. Once I've done the things that I need to do, I get to do the things that I want to do, right? Okay. I want to go on to my next point, which is, what happens if you don't? Okay, so once you've got your goals, SMART goals, remember, and you're celebrating your little wins along the way, that's great. It does boost your motivation. It boosts positive emotion. It helps you stay disciplined. But what's going to really keep you grounded? What's going to help you not snooze your alarm when you're waking up 6, 7 a.m. to go to the gym early, or to go to the gym early and send out CVs early before you actually have to do your day job that you don't really like? Is asking yourself, what happens if you don't? I've put this in, I think, nearly every video I've done, but it's a crucial part. And Jordan Peterson, who I've referenced a lot when I talk about this, has an actual program. I think it's called Future Authoring or Self-Authoring or something like that. And this is a core concept. And my last point I'll talk about is another core concept that kind of mirrors this one. But you really need to ask yourself and dig deep on your why. And the way that you do that is by asking yourself, what happens if you don't become the person you want to be? Going back to the habits we talked about, right? They're tied to the person you want to be. So you need to ask yourself, what happens if you don't improve your health and fitness? A lot of people, when they come to me, are worried that they might not be around anymore. Genuinely, that is a genuine worry, especially even actually if they're not even that old. Sometimes people in their 30s that I've helped coach will say that to me. And definitely 40 and above will say things like that to me all the time. Or it will be, if they have kids. If I don't get my health and fitness under control, then I won't be the best parent I can be, because I'll be setting a bad example for them. I won't have the energy to spend time with them. All of these things, right? And it's the same. You can have a look at this. You can use this to look at your career as well, right? Imagine you don't change your job. You're in the same job you're in now that you already don't like, but you're 10 years older. You're not going to be as sharp, okay? You're going to be more resentful. So you're just going to have more negative emotion overall. You're going to wake up and go, right, it's Monday again. One of those, right? I believe wholeheartedly you want to be the type of person who gets excited about Monday like you get excited about the weekend. Now, Mondays can be quite tough for me. I won't say I'm always excited about them, but there's a lot I do on my Monday that I'm really excited to do and I find really fulfilling, whether I feel like doing it on that day or not. And that goes back to point number one. But that ties back to my deeper why, right? Like, I make sure to message new people every day and see if I can help them with anything health and fitness related, and even career related, because that's something I've helped friends with and I'm getting more into. But definitely on the health and fitness front, because that's what I do. Half of my time spent coaching mainly guys online. We do help some ladies as well, but helping guys improve their confidence and their fitness without strict diets, without hours and hours in the gym, and staying consistent even when they don't feel like it. So I'm doing this video. And then the other half of my time is on my tech business, right? But there's deeper reasons I do that. If I don't do those two businesses, if I don't do what I need to do every day, I'm not going to be the man I want to be. And if I wake up in the morning and I'm not the man I want to be, for me, then I'm not going to like what I see in the mirror. And you are what you do. You're not what you say. You are what you do. And I think we have to remember this. I put myself in the same pot. It's not me saying all these things like I'm better than the viewer watching this. It's me saying I have to remind myself of all these things as well, because if I truly am the man I want to be, and when I put my head on the pillow at night and I know I've done the work I need to do that day, I sleep easier. I know that when I do eventually have kids, which I really, really want to have kids, I will be able to confidently say you can be whatever you want to be if you put in the work. A lot of people say that. People say that at school, and you're like, how do you know? Have you done those things? And that's not knocking teachers for being teachers, or my parents or anything like that. It's just you'll have key people in your life, throughout your life, mentors, let's say, where maybe they say you can or can't do something and you're not really sure that they're the right person or a person of authority to tell you those things. But when you are that person of authority, because you've already done it yourself, it makes it has a lot more value, okay? Especially, like I said, my kids, if I'm saying to them, you can create your own business, and I have two of my own businesses that are successful, then they're going to listen to me, right? If I want to be a good provider, a good leader for my girlfriend and my family, then I'm going to be able to do that a lot better if I'm doing the things I need to do every day, whether I feel like them or not. I'm going to make my parents proud, right? I'm going to be the healthiest I can be. I'm going to live a life of quantity and quality, right? Quantity meaning I'm going to live as long as I possibly can, and quality meaning I'm not going to be ill a lot of the time. I'm going to have energy. I'm going to get as much as I can done in a day. I'm going to be very much more social. There's all of these things. And Exercise does release endorphins. It does release positive emotion. So the more I do it, the more energy I have, the more I'll be able to do it. Positive feedback loop, right? The more I do the things I do, whether I feel like them or not, the more positive feedback loops I have in life, the better and more fulfilling life I'll live, right? This is something that Jordan Peterson talks about a lot. Don't pursue happiness. Pursue what is meaningful, and then happiness will become along the way, because happiness is fleeting, just like motivation is, just like sadness is. So what are you left with? You need something deeper underneath all that emotion that is still valuable and that shouldn't be ignored. You need something underneath that keeps you on a track, right? A deep, meaningful track. So getting back to the point, I could talk for days on this because it means so much to me. And I know from the people I've worked with, our fitness clients, and even friends I've helped with their career and things like that, when you have that deeper why, it really helps you kick in gear. It helps you get started and it helps you keep going, because you're like, I'm not going to be a man that I admire if I don't do the things that I know I need to do. And so ask yourself, 3, 6, 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the line, but even just 3 or 6 months, right? Start small. What happens if you don't send the CVs out today? Go to the gym today. What happens if you don't? Make it specific. Make it so flipping scary that you will do it. And then once you have that deep scary thing to run the hell away from, right? To work away from, you need something to work towards. We already talked about goals before, but once you have your goals and once you have a deeper understanding of what really is my life going to be like if I don't have these good habits, if I don't hit these goals, if I'm not disciplined even when I don't feel like it, what happens if I do? How good could my life possibly be? And this is what I ask people before they start working with us, is say, once we've talked about what happens if they don't, you know, I'll be slower, I'll have less energy, I'll hate my job more, I'll feel even worse about myself, I'll have even less confidence. Once they create that bad picture, I ask them, what does you 2.0 look like? What does that greater version of you look like? What kind of life are they living? What kind of things are they doing? How are their relationships? How is their job, their career, and the amazing thing about this is when you start to imagine the type of person you could be, it really opens your life to the type of life, it really opens your eyes to the type of life you can start living. And you start to believe you can be the person you really want to believe, because sometimes it's just belief, self-belief that holds you back. And when you break down each of these steps, you realize you're not going to be motivated all the time. You realize if you made your habits better and easier on yourself, you know, it's just going to be that bit less, you're going to remove friction. You realize if you have SMART goals and little wins that you've got things you can actually achieve and work towards, and you release positive emotion that keeps you on the good track. And then you're like, if I'm here now and I've achieved these goals, what more could I achieve? You know, I often say that the biggest thing, and I say this to my friends, I say this to my clients all the time, people have this surface level idea about the gym and health and fitness, or just self-improvement in general. Yeah, it would be good if I got a better job. Yeah, okay, more money, right? What does that more money mean to you? Money isn't everything, but it's a big driver for some people. It might mean a nicer place to live for you and your partner. It might mean if you've got a nicer place to live, you have your own office. It might mean if you have your own office, you've got better boundaries in your relationship. Like, there's all of these trickle down effects that if you get specific and take this genuinely seriously and you think about it, you meditate on it, you actually write it down, you will have a list, an essay worth of amazing things that will come with your life if you do the things that you want to do, whether you feel like them or not. And it's amazing. I love seeing it. I love seeing people's face light up when they tell me, not when I put the words in their mouth. And that's another reason I do this, is I don't want to be that kind of coach that goes, yeah, you know, you push, man, you push. It's like, you tell me what your life's going to be like if you don't do this, if you're lazy today, if you snooze your alarm, because that's what I'm going to tell you when you say to me you were feeling lazy one week, because you can't bat away your own words because you said them. If I've said them to you, you're like, yeah, I get it, Dan. Yeah, I get it. But if I say, but you said these words, didn't you? Yes, I did. So has that changed for you? No, it hasn't. So do you think you should just do it whether you feel like it or not? Yeah, I do. Okay, so let's make tomorrow a better day than today, right? That's what it's all about. And this isn't about being perfect, guys. I want to make this very clear. It's not about being perfect. It's about doing this the majority of the time. 80-20 principle, I think, is a really good way to think about it. You should aim for 100%. You shouldn't aim for 80. But life is not perfect. And I believe if you aim for 100 and you fall at 80, you'll get to your gym goals, you'll get to your career goals, and you will at least improve your life a lot more than it currently is. And I think that is a good note to finish this video on. I don't want to ramble on too much, make this video too long, but have a think about this, guys. I'm going to summarize the video. I hope it was helpful for you. So the points we touched on was motivation runs out. Okay, discipline is much better than motivation. 2, your habits, right? List out your good ones, list out your bad ones. How can you do more of good and how you can do less of the bad? Number 3 is make sure you set SMART goals and celebrate little wins. Number 4 is you need to ask yourself, what happens if you don't become the person you want to be? And number 5 is, and you need to get as specific as possible with these last 2. And number 5 is, what happens if you do? How good is your life going to be? How is it going to feel? How are you going to look? How are you going to live? Now, if you need to get started, if you want to get started, if you want to kickstart your fitness transformation, you want to learn about training, you want to learn about food, and you want to really dig deep on this video, then I'm going to have a link in the description to join our next free 7-day challenge. When this video goes live, it will be the 15th of October. We're kicking one off on the 17th of October, but we are going to be running these every 3 weeks, guys, for the foreseeable future. So click the link in the description, get involved. It's a challenge run via our private Facebook group. We also have an email version, but if you come into the Facebook group, I'll give you coaching for 7 days. I'll give you accountability. I'll respond to all of your questions, all of your responses to each task. Each task is 10 minutes a day. It's designed for the very reason that I know you're busy. I know you're going to say it's not the right time. I know you're going to say you don't have time. But all great men are busy. All great people are busy. I fundamentally believe that, always, in their life. So if there's plenty of people out there that have families, that have careers, that have multiple businesses, that have kids, and are in good shape, if there's people doing all those things, why can't you? Honestly, why can't you? And if there's something out there, like our free challenge, not even just our free challenge, but if there's something out there which is low barrier to entry, remember what I said in point number 2, which is 10 minutes a day. If you can't do that, then that's you saying to yourself, this is not a priority for me. It's not, you don't have time. I want to make this so clear. I'm not saying this and getting passionate about it and rambling on and not ending the video because I want you to sign up to the challenge and come and do my thing. It's because I love the way we've designed this, and we're on to our 4th of one of these challenges for guys. We have a separate one for ladies as well. But we're on the 4th one for guys, and one fundamental thing I've seen, and every guy has to forfeit this point when I say to them, you have 10 minutes a day. Yes. It doesn't matter what commitments they have. They always do. People with multiple kids, businesses, all the rest of it, right? So it's the guys that actually put the time and effort into the challenge that I'm like, you're serious. And then if they want more help from us, maybe we start working together. Maybe not. But whether they start working with us or not, I know at least from them going through the free challenge, whether they're actually serious or not about their health and fitness goals. So if you're serious, click the link in the description, sign up, just 10 minutes a day covering food, training consistency, how to get to your goals without strict diets, how to get to your goals without hours and hours and hours in the gym, and how to get to your goals and stay consistent even when you don't feel like it. Those are just a few of the things we'll be covering in the challenge. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell. There's probably going to be a video here, and I'll see you in the next one.